everybody, and welcome to the Empowering Industry Podcast. I'm your host, Charlie Matthews, and I have been recorded and I've been excited to be recording all day. I've loved every second of it. I finally want to think, or I want to think about like my energy, like has it changed in video? So I'm going to go back and look, but I am excited to be here. I'm super excited about our guest. Justin has been somebody I've followed for years in the industry, and I'm excited for y'all to get to know him. So Justin, jump on here and introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Justin Hatfield. I'm from HECO out of Kalamazoo, Michigan. So an oddly warm day for Michigan here.
Yeah, the sun is shining bright back there. And, I kind of recently got a promotion about you becoming the entrepreneur of the year. And tell me about that because, as a fellow entrepreneur, I absolutely love it. And so tell us about your company and kind of what led to this recognition.
All right, well, I'm just a finalist still. So actually, I find out tomorrow if I won or not. So
Okay.
it's a big thing. I'm in the middle of I did interviews and other things. So I find out tomorrow if I've actually won for Michigan and Northern Ohio.
Well,
So
when this comes out, we'll know, and we'll
oh,
have to fill everybody. Yeah, we'll fill everybody in. If it's good, if it's not, you're a winner. Okay. So the recognition is really important. And I mean, we've talked about a lot on this podcast about entrepreneurs and the hard work that goes in. And, you think you're giving up a 40-hour-a-week job and it's going to be great. And then you realize, okay, I'm giving that up for an 80-hour-a-week job and it never turns off. But it's very rewarding. And so I'd like to hear a little bit about, how you got into the industry, which led to this journey.
Yeah, so I was born in the electric motor industry. So my grandfather started my business in 1959 in his basement, then led to his garage, and then my father and his brothers purchased it in the early 90s. And they ran it for over 20 years, and then we had to make a decision back in the 2018 timeframe of a lot of people in our industry are going around selling to private equity, especially companies the size of ours. So there's a lot of EASA shops out there, 1,800 in the world, and we're one of those two, I guess, three of those 1,800 with our locations. But a lot of these are being gobbled up by these big corporations that are buying them, and we had to say, do we want to keep this in the family or do we want to do that? So in 2018, we cut a deal to get my uncles wanted to retire, so they got to retire, and we were able to buy their interest out, and then I've been running the company since then, and actually my father's my partner, so he's mostly retired. I have him under contract for about a day a week right now, but it was I'm pretty lucky to be born into this, and I didn't know forever it's what I was gonna do. When I was a kid, it was like, oh, I'm gonna run HECO. That's the big thing you're gonna do as a kid. I remember taking my dad's business cards and scratching out his name and writing my name on them and like handing them out to kids, right? Like oh, it's a family business. You're gonna do that. But I never knew for sure until I started working here, and I've worked here since I started in high school, right? So in high school, working in our shop, my first job was cleaning dirty motor parts as they come in and getting nasty dirt and grease behind your ears and then everything, and doing that. And then I worked my way throughout the shop. You don't want me to do a lot of that work. Don't get me wrong. Like that's not my expertise. I've done it all, but you don't want me doing some of that stuff. We got guys that are a heck of a lot better than I am.
Well, did you go to school for finance? Am I remembering that right? Okay.
Yep, I have a finance degree. So I started listening to some people here, and they're like, hey, you got to understand the business side. If you don't understand the business side, there's a lot of really smart engineers out there that just don't understand it. Because I was going to go down that engineer path, and in hindsight, if I could do it again, you can go and become an engineer and then get an MBA, but you can't do the reverse, right? I can't go get a master's of engineering all of a sudden, right? So if I could go back, that's probably what I would do, but no regrets or anything. I stayed in Kalamazoo, and my dream was to go to Notre Dame. So it's only about hour 15, hour and a half away from Kalamazoo. And then senior year of high school, the scholarship program called the Kalamazoo Promise was announced. And this is a scholarship program by 7 anonymous donors, where if you went to Kalamazoo Public Schools from kindergarten to 12th grade, you had a full ride to a Michigan college. And I was planning on going to Notre Dame. Like it was like $50,000 a year then to go there. It's more expensive now. So $200,000 in debt or no debt. I think that made it. And I had only applied to 2 schools. So I went to Western Michigan here in Kalamazoo, which ended up being the biggest blessing for me, because I worked 20 to 30 hours a week while going to college. Still my degree done in 4.5 years. But those, the hours I spent working in our business are the foundation of what I have now in my knowledge. I worked in our quality department, wrote a lot of our, like every final motor report that would go. So we'd repair a motor, we'd send it out. I wrote every single one of those during those years. And those would be sent out, other than maybe some highly technical ones that the engineering team would do or something. But I learned a ton doing that. And it's just foundational knowledge that I've been able to keep with me. And a lot of stuff I did, and I still play around with from time to time, because I love it. It's close to my heart.
Yeah, well, it's funny that I almost said engineer at the beginning, but because you are so closely aligned with that, and really, it's just which path did you take, and you're still learning, constantly learning all of the things that engineering do have to learn. So exciting. We know that on the job training is invaluable. So you've definitely got that. And I loved your story about like the business card and writing your name on it, because I had my daughter who she says she's going to take over my company all the time, right? And I can see her doing that, but I also see her wanting to do her own thing for a while and like see what else she could do, and then kind of come back to this, right? So there's all those options out there, especially if you own your own company and have that family feel. So what is it like working with family, because I know that is, it has its challenges, but it also has that, it's just fun. They kind of get it. Everybody in the family kind of gets it. And you're talking about it, at the Thanksgiving dinner or whatever.
Yeah. I've been pretty blessed that it really hasn't been stressful. Even when it was my father and his 2 brothers, and I had 1 or 2 cousins that worked here. But it all kind of naturally, everyone found what they wanted to do, and only a family left. It's only myself, my sister is here, and my father. Well, he's kind of still here, but he's like if I'm too busy or I need to be in 2 places at once, I'm like, hey, why don't you go do that? And it's like, hey, he's gonna be better at it than me anyway, so send him over there to do it. And my sister naturally is like the most people person you'll ever meet, and she just naturally, she spent a lot of time in inside sales and now is in outside sales. And I'm telling you, has like a cult-like following. Her customers absolutely love her. She's smarter than I am and better at what she does than I am. So like she's where she should be, and she's killing it. And it's great. And there's really no drama or no issues. Like occasionally it'll be funny. We'll be like somewhere having a couple beers or something and be like, oh yeah, we never talked about that. And there'll be like a quick little thing about work. And then it's right back to talking about the kids and everything else going on. So yeah, I've been pretty blessed that it hasn't been like the reality shows and all that type of stuff where they're fighting with each other every day.
That's great. It's good to hear. And it's funny. It reminds me of, I just went over to Italy with Vince, where he kind of shares time between here and there in Alabama. But I went to visit, and we did that. We'd sit down to dinner and there'd be some work conversation, and then we'd get back to, okay, we're in Italy, we're having some noodles. This is great. And so, I think it is that because we care about it, passionate about it, it's going to come up, and so it's not just work. And so I think that it takes a lot to be recognized in that program of an Entrepreneur of the Year. So what do you feel like you've done to for you to stand out in that way?
I was interested in the amount of information that they ask you for. Like I had to give them financial data. So they actually look at the growth of our company, and I kind of looked at some of the data I had sent them before this, and since 2018 we've had 115% growth as a company. So that's about 20% a year for 6 years, right? And that wasn't a straight line, right? There was some ups and downs, and
there was a pandemic in the middle.
There was this big, there was a big thing called COVID in the middle there. that hurt a little bit. But I mean, it was, that's a piece of it, that we have grown. We've been active in acquiring other companies, right? So I've always looked at, I go to the EASA convention and other things, and there's a lot of people there that don't have too many years left in their career. And I love this industry. I have a passion for it. We got an awesome team here. And like, it's like, let me be your succession plan. Like you don't have someone that you want to sell to, but you want to keep it a family business. You want to do that. And actually, I'm working on one of those right now. Probably by far the biggest acquisition we've ever done as a company. That's a family business, multi-generation, and I'm honored that these people will like trust us to carry on their family legacy and keep it going. And we've done, a series of those already, from the, predictive maintenance space and vibration route firms, traditional vibration analysis, to two different motor repair shops, a pump repair shop, all these different ones that do different things related to, rotating equipment in general. But, I think that's a piece of it. And then we are really active in technology, right? I love, fancy new shiny objects, right? So I naturally gravitate towards those. But our partnership with Relayer on our Apollo product for, having an AI backed predictive maintenance tool that blends in naturally with our route-based predictive maintenance, right? That's big for a company our size, right? To our software, where we track life cycles of electric motors and things like that we've done. So it's like we have this cool family business. We're in a cool size where we're pretty big from the independent shops left, like that are privately held. But there's a lot of shops that are a lot smaller than us, and there's a lot of them that are a lot bigger than us. So I think we're in this really cool middle ground where we can like be adaptive like the small guys, but also have all the resources of the big guys. And I find that pretty cool.
Yeah, and it just proves the growth, and that y'all were able to have over. It takes vision, it takes that business sense. Like again, if you think back, you needed to go and get that side of the business and understand it for what was happening today, and in the future. That mindset had to be there in order for all this to come together. So that's super cool to think about. And yeah,
I do probably drive our director of finance crazy a little bit from here and there when I overanalyze every number. I'm like, well, just give it to me, I'll do it.
we were talking about that on the podcast earlier about like how hard it is to like let that part go to someone else, especially if it's like in your wheelhouse. But I think that there's a lot of opportunity. I would like you to tell us a little bit about the company. You kind of alluded to with the companies that you bought, but tell us a little bit about kind of your day-to-day operations.
Yeah, so we have a few different departments that do different things. The biggest part of the company is still traditional industrial electric motor repair. So we do the size of stuff we do. There's only maybe a handful, a dozen companies that can do the size of high voltage rewinds and things that we can do. So we have up to 100,000 pound, not 100-ton motors that we repair. And so they're coming in flatbeds, and we're taking some apart on site and reassembling them, on site.
If you haven't seen that, y'all, this is super cool. I mean, I've been inside of a stator and stuff like that. I mean, it's
come to Kalamazoo, I'll give you a tour.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we like giving tours, but I love that our business, you can like touch and feel the things we do, right? So it's nice. But then we sell new motors, right? New and surplus. So we have up to, what is it, like 15,000 horsepower surplus motors in our inventory that we own that are available, because you get these big things that are, a year plus to get. We can rebuild one in a lot quicker time than it takes to get all new virgin materials, right? Which I like the play of the sustainability aspect of that, right? That you're reusing materials versus going out and getting new mined materials that are going in things. So I really think surplus units, rebuilding motors is I think a crucial piece to sustainability in general. So I love that part of it too.
100% agree with that. I love the conversation around circularity too, and like keeping up with the equipment. And it sounds like you've acquired some companies that are going to even help with some of that in the future, or at least that's where
oh yeah, it's a big part of it. I think it's going to become more and more of a thing. So we're trying to stay on the front edge of that, and I think we do it. It's just natural what we do every day. I mean, we're used to recycling all the different components and we're using what we can. And it's just what we've always been. And but we never really talked about it before. So it's nice that like we can talk about it now and it's like it's cool and it's in. But
Yeah, and we've been doing it. We're the catalyst. We just didn't tell everybody.
exactly.
That was it.
We set the trends, exactly. So we repair them, we sell new. Now we do also repair pumps in our Kentucky location. That's a smaller location, but that's the only location we have that does pumps, and they do also some gearbox repair. We are pretty much just AC and DC and synchronous motors here in Kalamazoo. We also do hydro generator rewinds. So we'll go on site and rewind a hydro generator on site. And then a big part of our company is our equipment management side. And this is where we will go in and so you do a big integrated steel mill complex, and they'll have 20 to 50,000 motors in that complex, with like a third of those being spares. They don't know where they're at. They're spread all over. They've all been repaired by 100 different vendors that do it their own way. And you get one in and you can't trust it. And you kind of have these little kingdoms that are built. So we come in and say, hey, let's kind of standardize this. Let's centralize your spares. Let's control them. Let's put in place a repair spec, a purchase spec, and we'll manage that entire process for you. So in some of these programs, every motor that goes out for repair, no matter if it's repaired by us or even someone else in our industry, it comes through us. And we quality check them. We make sure that if you have a spare, it's truly a spare. It's not just the illusion of a spare, right? That you don't go get it and it fails quicker than the last one did. But there's a lot of components to that, to maintaining on site. So we'll kind of take a holistic approach to everything that goes on. And from the repairs, the replacements, making sure everything is done correctly related to a motor, managing the spares, one piece of that. And that's all done in our software. So it makes it a really unique way to do that for people. We do that not just in steel, but paper, power generation, pharmaceutical, a lot of different industries. We do that. It started in automotive actually, but
well, I think it's setting you up for even more success. We talk about this a lot, about just knowing where your assets are. So, and that's so important, even in, if you were mapping out a plant, if you were going to do robotics, if you were going to do, maintenance with any type of, I don't remember the word. I mean, I'm just going to say like predictive, preventive maintenance, cover it all. And so there's so much there that we are the future of manufacturing has to adapt to, but it starts with this. It starts with knowing where the assets are, having something in place to measure what's going on with the equipment. So definitely ahead of the game on that. So of course, to your customers.
Yeah, and it's kind of like it just gets rid of. I like to there's times the electric motor repair space is like any repair space. It's not always, you feel a little sleazy at times, right? Where it's not above board. And our equipment management programs put everything above board. And that's one of the pieces I love. There's no secrets, there's no special sauce. This is how it's done, and this is how and it's completely transparent. And I love that piece of it, because I just don't like anything. You think of automotive repair, right? There's not always the best trustworthiness of those, but I really like that it just makes it really simple and clean and transparent, to where lots of times we're working completely transparent with purchasing and maintenance and everybody within a plant. And it's just everything is done transparently. I love that aspect of it.
Yeah, I think it's really important too, of just changing the whole stereotype and the whole feeling. I mean, it's actually creating a difference versus saying that it's different. Like, here's a tool. How many times do we need that? A tool that helps us kind of move it into, I mean, I love, of course, lean manufacturing, Six Sigma, and all that were tools. And this is kind of an extension of what the next thing is. So I love that, Justin. So makes sense. All of that makes sense of why you were nominated for this award. And just, again, congratulations on your success, and that being a family-owned company that is leading the way in a lot of different areas. Exciting to see. And then, we bring up EASA, and, that event, it has always, and I say always, as long as I remember, it does have that business aspect to it. It's teaching small business owners how to run their business. And I think that's missed sometimes if you just kind of go into the hall, and don't really pay attention to the courses that are being taught there. these are small business owners, and we're teaching them how to run the business. And so, can you talk a little bit about being involved there?
Oh, I'd love to. So I'm passionate about EASA because my family really wasn't involved in it for a long time. My father was involved in it 20, 30 years ago. And then we didn't even go to the convention for a lot of years. Like I didn't grow up, like a lot of these people I go there with now, they grew up going to it. I don't remember. I never went as a kid or anything like that. But you know, ever since I've gotten involved, I have resources for everything. Like I have people that I have met that I can call that are dealing with these issues. I had to get a drawing from an OEM, like so someone that made this motor, and I'm reaching out to a friend of a friend of a friend in Europe to get this European design information, and I bought this design so that I could have it to bail a customer out. Like it was just that was all EASA. If I wasn't in EASA, I wouldn't have been involved in that. So I like EASA because it truly looks, like you said, it's not just the technical side. That's definitely a big piece of it, but it tries to help an EASA member, which would be, you know, electro-mechanical, you know, company of some kind, right? And tries to help the entire company. So from management things to sales things to technical things. So everything related to that. So I mean, we have committees set up for those. I'm lucky to chair the Emerging Technologies Committee. I said it like shiny objects. So as part of that, we're looking at, and that originally was really focused on IoT and IIoT. And now it's really shifting into, let's just not talk about that. We need to be talking about electrification in general. We need to be talking, and where does EASA and EASA members are involved in that? We know there's EASA members repairing, you know, EV motors. I know some members in the UK that are EV buses, right, that are much more prevalent in Europe than they are in the US, although they're becoming more and more in the US now. And they're fixing those motors on contracts. And we need to be pay attention to that as emerging technology, right? So I'm lucky that I get to lead all of those cool shiny object stuff for EASA and AI, but AI other than just IIoT AI, right? So there's a lot of ways in which AI is going to impact everybody's business, right? It's the big talk about everything right now. And then, but we have management committee, emerging technologies, technical committees, as well as marketing and industry awareness. I serve on that committee as well. That's a fun one. It's like you're laughing as much because it's a bunch of sales type people, so you're cracking up the entire time. And that's a blast one. But it's industry awareness of what's going on, from legislation to other things that could impact the industry. And like EASA, there was a thing many years ago about you know, if you rewind a motor, it will lose all of its efficiency, and that's not true. So EASA did studies to do that. So we're making sure that, you know, industry awareness is out there in the marketplace for all of the members, and just the truth, in all honesty, on what it means that if you rewind the motor to EASA standards, you will lose no efficiency. If anything, we saw minimal gains, but it affect no transition. So people out there are saying, hey, if you rewind a motor, it's going to lose its efficiency. That's just simply not true. Unless you do it to poor practices. If you do poor practices in it, it probably would.
Yeah, and I think that that's the point. You know, they are educating, they're setting the standard that we can go back and I know that it's the challenge, which is in everything, is just to get the information out to the people that need to know it. And so, being willing to jump on the mic with me, thank you for that, Justin, and thank you for the work that you're doing to continue and grow the industry, and putting all these companies together is what we need to be successful later. So you can see all those different pieces, which I love. So you've made me think of a lot of different things with this emerging technologies and emerging innovations, and who's at the table. That room has got to be very interesting. But yeah, throw a salesperson in there to liven it up a bit if you need to.
Exactly.
Well, I've had a pleasure talking to you. I'm excited for you. I can't wait to hear the news. Hopefully you'll send me a note on that tomorrow as you win. But you, like I said, you're a winner to us in industry. Thanks for always being kind, and it's been a wonderful to watch your journey. I'll leave you with a kind of last word here.
Yeah, I just appreciate you know, the chance to talk about our industry, what we're doing at HECO, and my career path and everything there. And just we got to get more and more people in this industrial trades and things like that. So anyone ever wants to talk about that, I'm willing to have that conversation. We're all in it together to help show people that there's amazing careers out there. And I think that's a challenge that we're all going to have moving forward. So.
Okay, quick rapid fire. What's your favorite book?
Favorite book? Oh, that's tough.
It's
I'm gonna
okay.
go to like, I'm gonna go to like my childhood and be like Harry Potter stuff. Like that's foundational for me.
I like it. I like it. What about music?
I'm a country music guy.
Okay.
Huh?
What's the best advice you've ever received?
Fail fast.
Ooh, good one. Okay. Young person coming into the industry, what advice do you give them?
Find what you're good at. Keep trying stuff. You might not be good at the first thing you do, but keep trying, and you're gonna find something that clicks.
I love it. I love it. Well, Justin, a pleasure. Like I said, if people are looking to connect with you, how would you like them to reach out?
They can reach out to me on LinkedIn. They can reach out to me via the HECOinc.com website. However you want to get a hold of me, I'm here.
Okay, awesome. Well, Justin, again, thank you so much. Y'all share this episode. I feel like so many people, of course, y'all know we've talked about it before. Pumps, motors, they're where the energy's at. So let's definitely share this episode so people can learn where we're going as well. Until next time, be empowering.